Hello and welcome to this tutorial for the game Rome. This is a strange world and people are constantly getting lost. It's up to you and the other players to find them. Here's how you play the game. You are going to keep playing until one person has collected 10 of these cards. Then you finish the round and whoever has the most points wins the game. The points are written on the cards at the bottom. Just count them all up to get your final score. So again, you keep going until someone has 10 cards, then the game is over, and if you have the most points, you are the winner. First, how do you get a card? During the game, you and the other players will be placing their markers on these cards. As soon as a card is completely full, the player who has the most markers on it can take the card. Next, what is a round? Very simple. A round is every player getting one turn. That's it. So, what do you do when it's your turn? You can look at your own information card to help you. When it's your turn, you start by choosing one of your own cards that are in front of you. Every card shows a pattern at the bottom. The card that you chose is the pattern that you have to make on the landscape by using your own markers. Here is the pattern for this card. I have to make this pattern exactly as it is in front of me. I can't turn it around and I can't mirror it. It has to be like this. I flip over my card to indicate I've used it this turn, and then I place my markers on the landscape just like this pattern says. If you place your marker on top of a money icon, then you can immediately take money from the bank. In case you want to make a pattern but there's another player's marker in that space, just skip that one space and do the other ones. And that's it. That's what you do when it's your turn. Pick a pattern, flip over the card, and then make the pattern on the landscape with your own markers. Now, what happens when it's your turn, but all of your cards have been flipped over? Easy. When every single card you have has been flipped over, you can turn them all around so you can use them again, and then take your turn. There is one extra option for this. What if not all of your cards have been flipped over, but you just can't use the one or more cards that are available, or you don't want to? Then you can pay money to flip over the used cards. You have to pay as much money as you have unused cards left. For example, I've got 2 cards that I could still use, so I pay 2 money to the bank. And then I can flip over all the cards that were used. I must flip all of them. It's not allowed to leave some of them as they are. Flipping over cards for money is called early rest. Let me get back to what happens when a card is completely filled up with markers. Don't forget that this is how you get more cards and more points. If at the end of your turn one card is completely full with your markers and markers of other players, it has to be dealt with. The card goes to whoever has the most markers on the card. If that's you, take the card and flip it over so you have a new character to use from now on. You get your markers back, and so do the other players. If you were not the player that had the most markers on it, then it goes to the player who did have the most, but in that case you can take 1 money from the bank. And so can every other player that also had a marker on the card but didn't win it. Players who didn't win a card always get 1 money if they had at least 1 marker on a full card. In case it's a tie, check the rulebook for how that works. And that's already it. This is how you play Rome. Flip over a card, place your markers, and if a card is full, it can be taken by the winner, and the new card comes on the table. Some details about placing your markers. As you can see, sometimes there is a blank space on the card. You can't place a marker there, but the blank space is allowed to be off the board, off the landscape. If you want, you are allowed to pay 2 money so that you can use one blank space as a space where you can put your marker. Normally a blank space is not where you place a marker, but if you pay 2 money, you are allowed to do that. If you're playing this for the first time, then this tutorial is finished. You're ready to give it your first try. But if you've played it before or you don't mind a small additional challenge, you can add the artifacts, these tiles. At the very end of your turn, you can pay money to get one of these, only one. Pay the money and place the tile in front of you and put a new tile in the display. And from now on, you can flip over this tile to get the special ability of whatever it says. You can flip it back over when you refresh all your cards, or in case you paid to refresh your cards early. This one never counts as something you need to pay extra for. And artifacts have points on them too. We're done. You know all you need to know to try out a game of Rome. I hope you feel the same and that you'll have a nice time with it. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and see you for the next one.